Welcome, it's time for fantasy, and I'm trying out one of the big ones. I'm a big fan of fantasy, but I tend to avoid some of the big ones. I don't know if it's that I'm just scared of the hype, that I will get disappointed, or that I'm put off by the hype. I don't really know. I mean, sometimes the hype is there for a reason, but yes, it can also lead to disappointment. So this month, I let you decide between 3 different books that I already had on the shelves. They've been sitting there for forever, and it was finally time to at least read one of them. And you picked Mistborn. Now this will be my first ever Brandon Sanderson, and I actually have a confession, but we'll get to that soon. First, let's talk about what this book is about. For 1,000 years, the world has been a wasteland of ash and mist, ruled by the immortal emperor known as the Lord Ruler. Every revolt has failed miserably, yet somehow hope survives. Hope that dares to dream of ending the empire and even the Lord Ruler himself. A new kind of uprising is being planned, one built around the ultimate caper, one that depends on the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind and the determination of an unlikely heroine, a street urchin who must learn to master elemancy, the power of a Mistborn. Yeah, that's the plot of Mistborn. And here's my confession. A book that I've also already kind of started a little bit. I've actually read all the way up to part 2. I started reading this over Easter when I was with my family, and I really didn't think that I was going to get this far. I just really didn't want to put it down. I also completely forgot to film anything for this video while I was away. I was just enjoying time with my family and reading. And I have to say, I've been completely hooked from the first sentence. Right away, you're thrown into the mystery with prophecies, world building, these really interesting characters, and this interesting magic system. So this is completely new to me. I barely read anything. I didn't even read the back. I didn't know much about this going in, and I feel so immersed in the story. Straight away, I didn't get overwhelmed with too much information like you can be sometimes with fantasy. They just pile on with information. It didn't feel like that in the beginning at all. And I feel like anything can happen. I have no idea who to trust, no idea where this is going. It's just, yeah. But the real question is, does it stay this good? But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's talk about the genre. So fantasy evolved from mythology and oral storytelling to become one of the most popular literary genres that we have. While its roots stretch back to ancient epics and folklore, the modern fantasy as we know it today started to take shape in the late 1800s, early 1900s. That's when we see authors create entirely original worlds. But the genre truly crystallized with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings by Tolkien, which established many of the conventions that we have for high fantasy today. In the later half of the 20th century, fantasy diversified, expanding beyond its earlier niche and into the mainstream, branching out in different subgenres, and it just continues to evolve. We see fantasy merged with different genres like horror, mystery, science fiction, romance. I mean, don't you just love it? Let's continue this book. In Mistborn, we see high fantasy combined with heist fantasy and a hard magic system, meaning a magic system with clearly defined rules and limitations that makes it feel almost scientific. I find it very interesting and unique. Halfway through, I am so totally hooked by this book. Yeah. I love these characters. They just feel so very human to me in the most imperfect way. And and this crew, I just love this crew. There's so many aspects that the crew is taking on to try to achieve their goal. Political, infiltrating different parts of society, raising the resistance in the lower classes. You just get such a full, fleshed out picture of this world. And at the same time, each member of the crew is shaped by their own background and experiences, making them look at their work in their own unique way. Makes them feel both connected and fragile as a group at the same time, which I quite like. And it holds a lot of tension as well, with what I said before about not knowing who to trust, what direction any character will choose, all of that. There is something about the Lord Ruler. Now, this might be a very slim parallel that I'm drawing here, but he kind of reminds me of the villain in Mio's Kingdom by Astrid Lindgren in a couple of ways. I don't know how much I can say without spoiling both books, but it has to do with, so the villain in Mio's Kingdom has a heart of stone, which gives a little twist in the end. But yeah, there's also this likeness to how they affect people's emotions and what that does to the world in itself. Yeah, we've been introduced to the love interest for one of the characters, and again, with every new character coming into the picture, I'm like, you could either be trustworthy or there will be betrayal. And I feel that with most of them. And I kind of like that. It feels like anything could happen. Like with some characters, it's almost like you can see that there will be some kind of crossroad where they could go one way or the other. But hey, we'll see. And it's like the entire book sort of like captures the inner struggles of Vin with like hope and trust against pragmatic distrust in the name of self-preservation. If you can't tell, I'm pretty excited reading this book. And also I think something that I've been longing for this year, a book to be excited about. So fingers crossed that it will hold up. Please. I stayed up to 3 a.m. last night reading until I couldn't keep my eyes open any longer, and I have one chapter left. I know. So let me just read that real quick and then we'll chat about this book. Finished! Also, I just want to draw attention to what I've been using as a bookmark. It's a chick, and I got it for Easter from my niece. It's not a bookmark, but it was closest when I was starting to read the book, and I love it. Every time I open the book, I'm like, oh, and he also looks a little bit angry, which I love. Okay, the book. Some of the central themes in this book is class, of course, and power, the influence of power, how it affects a person or a group, and what a person would do for power. I would say that trust is also a big theme, connecting that to friendship as well. And although it was action-packed at times, it was also reflective, and I really liked that mix. And with these central themes, I liked that there was no easy solution to any of these subjects in the book. It made it feel that more complex. And I feel like we kind of follow Vin on her journey with this trust issue, not knowing who to trust or if you dare to trust someone. I really felt like I was on that train with her. And since it's a hard magic system, it's much more upfront than in some fantasy books. I sort of feel like there's still a mystery to it that we haven't learned all there is to know. Toward the end, like the last 150 pages or so, I kind of picked up on what was going to happen. In some cases, I had my suspicions even further back, and I was mostly right. And I do love that feeling of, hey, I figured it out. I'm so smart. But I also love being surprised. And I really haven't made up my mind yet if I think that it was too easy. I mean, I did have some small surprises, and I did like how the conclusion of the book, but haven't decided. There was also a part in the end that I felt was a little too information packed, and I didn't really feel that at the start of the book. So I was like, oh, is this gonna come now? And I didn't cry much. I cried a little bit. But hey, I loved this. I loved how it came together. I loved the characters, and I really look forward to reading the next book, although I am a bit nervous because I just really want to like it as much as I like this one. And this might be the best read of the year so far. Yeah, you picked a good one this month. So what genre are we reading for May? Well, it's mystery. And I did plan to read Rebecca, which Aaron recommended to me. But my life has been so chaotic lately that I totally forgot to acquire the book, and that I was going to have a book decided by now. So I ended up picking something that I already had at home, which is We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. Now, I haven't read the Thursday Murder Club, but I saw the movie, liked it, and when I saw that this new series was coming out, I bought it. And I do like reading the stuff from my physical TBR, but I also really want to pick up your suggestions because they're really good suggestions. And I actually had some good recommendations for you that I really want to read. And I'm thinking that might get like its own video, that I can pick up some of the books that didn't make it to the genre vlogs, because I really want to read them. So yeah, this one is for May, and in June it's climate fiction, and here I'm really gonna need your help. I would love your recommendations. Please comment what book you think I should read, because I don't really know. I don't have any ideas. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful and happy that you're here. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.